Senator, this past Monday, you unveiled your gun control plan. Some are calling it the most sweeping gun violence prevention proposal ever put forth by a presidential candidate. So why is this such an important issue to you?
So, look, I live in a community that sees gun violence in a way that is just horrific and regular. These mass shootings we have should break our hearts. I always say, if America hasn't broken your heart, you don't love her enough. Mm-hmm. And to see what's going on should be heartbreaking. But for many of us, we live with gun violence on a weekly, if not daily basis. And so my city's driven down the rates of shootings, but just a few days ago, I had a shooting in my neighborhood. I had a kid that I knew who grew up in the projects I lived in, just killed last year with an assault rifle on my block. And so this rips at our communities in ways that unfortunately a lot of Americans don't know, and I hope they never have to know. And how can we be a country where there's shootings in our schools and we do nothing, in our churches and our synagogues and we do nothing, people killed in my community and we do nothing? Enough is enough. Thoughts and prayers. I grew up in a church that said faith without works is dead. Thoughts and prayers is not enough. I'm coming forward to shape this national conversation, change the terms of this debate. If I am president of the United States, I'm going to bring a fight on this issue like has never been seen before, because to too many families, this is personal, and we've got to change this uniquely American problem. We must change.
You spoke about how you want to bring the country together. And I've experienced firsthand how this country is very divided on this particular issue. How can we bring our country together on this particular issue?
So we are descending into a terrible tribalism in our country. One of the reasons I'm running, as I said earlier, is to heal our country, have a revival of civic grace, a more courageous empathy for each other. And in my approach, if you are a law-abiding citizen, this is not going to undermine your rights to own a gun. In fact, if you look at the polls, a lot of the common sense things I put forward, 90% of Americans agree on. And so there's a lot of room for us to come together and get things done. And states that have done the kind of things I'm recommending, like Connecticut, they've actually seen a 40% reduction in gun violence. So if we know we can save lives, if we know that we can affirm human life, that's what we say we're about: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But talk about shattering happiness, talk about taking away the freedom to live without fear. So I want to be a unifying force to bring us together to do the things we know can be done. And I'm tired of the tribalistic politics, the politics of fear, of divisiveness, of pitting one American against another. There's enough common ground that we can, as a country, get back to a sense of common purpose. That's why I'm running, and that's what I'll do on this issue and others.
Senator, your plan is described as one that introduces aggressive gun safety measures.
Yes.
I would love to hear, what exactly are they?
Well, this is a plan that has multiple pillars. It's a constellation of issues. I'm tired of the insidious corporate gun lobby determining how this debate is going to go. Remember, most Americans agree on things like having universal background checks that close loopholes that exist. We have a nation right now where we have loopholes that if you are a non-felony stalker of your ex-boyfriend, you can still go out and buy a gun, or ex-girlfriend, and you can still go out and buy a gun and kill them. That's outrageous. So my vision is that we close those loopholes, that we do things like, hey, if you have to get a license to drive a car in this country, you should need to get a license to have a gun, so you show minimum competency and that you're legally allowed to own this weapon. And so these are common sense, evidence-based approaches. And they're also things that people often don't think of. Like, we have, every single day, 100 people are dying by weapons, and about 2/3 of those are suicides in our country. We know that we can reduce the levels of suicides in our country by doing common sense investments in the kind of things that lower that type of violence. So I'm tired of seeing a nation that has literally tied its arms behind its back. Enough is enough. We've had a debate formed by the gun lobby. It's time that Americans start to push this debate in the right direction.